Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm attorney Vincent W. Davis, and today we're going to discuss a topic that affects thousands of individuals and families throughout California every year. And that topic is this: how do you protect yourself during a California divorce? Now, if you are thinking about filing for divorce, if your spouse has already filed, or if you are currently involved in a family law case, this video is for you. Because one of the biggest mistakes people make during a divorce is assuming that everything will work itself out. Unfortunately, that is rarely how divorce cases operate. Divorce affects finances, property, retirement accounts, debt, child custody, child support, spousal support. And in many cases, the decisions made during the first few weeks of a divorce can affect a person's life for years. Today, we're going to discuss practical steps you can take to protect yourself, your children, your finances, and your future while navigating the California family court system. We're also going to discuss California divorce law, court procedures, evidentiary issues, documentation, trial preparation, and appellate remedies. Most importantly, we're going to discuss how to avoid the mistakes that often cause people unnecessary stress, expense, and frustration. Let's begin. The first thing you need to understand is that divorce is both an emotional process and a legal process. The emotional process happens inside the family, the legal process happens inside the courtroom. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is allowing emotion to control legal strategy. Now, I understand why this happens. People feel betrayed, angry, scared, confused, hurt. Those feelings are real. But California family courts are not designed to resolve emotional pain. Family courts resolve legal issues, and protecting yourself begins by understanding that distinction. Now, let's discuss the first practical step: get organized immediately before arguments escalate. Before records disappear, before accounts are closed, before important information becomes difficult to locate, gather documents, tax returns, bank statements, retirement account statements, credit card records, mortgage documents, vehicle information, business records, insurance policies, investment statements, pay stubs, debt information, anything involving finances. The sooner you gather information, the better. One of the most common problems I see is a spouse waiting too long. Then access to information becomes more difficult, and that creates unnecessary problems. Now, let's discuss California's community property laws. California is generally a community property state. That means property acquired during marriage is often presumed to belong equally to both spouses. But there are exceptions. Separate property may include assets owned before marriage, inheritances, gifts, and certain other categories of property. The challenge is that many marriages involve mixed finances. Separate property becomes commingled. Accounts are combined. Homes are refinanced. Retirement contributions occur over time. And untangling those issues requires documentation. That is why records matter. Now let's discuss the second practical step: protect your financial information. Notice I did not say hide assets. Do not hide assets. Do not transfer assets. Do not move money around trying to gain an advantage. Those actions often create serious problems. Instead, protect yourself by understanding what exists, know your accounts, know your debts, know your assets, know your financial obligations. Knowledge is protection. Now let's discuss children. Because for many parents, custody issues become the most important aspect of a divorce. California courts focus heavily on the best interests of the child, not the best interests of the parents, not who files first, not who is angrier, not who tells the most dramatic story. The focus is generally on the child's welfare, health, safety, stability, emotional well-being, and ongoing relationships with parents. Now, let's discuss one of the biggest mistakes parents make. They involve children in adult conflict. They ask children to choose sides. They criticize the other parent. They use children as messengers. They expose children to litigation. These actions often backfire. Judges notice these behaviors, and they frequently raise concerns. Now let's discuss the third practical step. Control your communication. Text messages become evidence, emails become evidence, social media posts become evidence, voicemails become evidence. Many people damage their own cases because they send emotional messages they later regret. Remember this: if you would not want a judge reading it in open court, think carefully before sending it. Now let's discuss California divorce procedure. A divorce case generally begins when one spouse files a petition for dissolution of marriage. The petition is filed with the Superior Court. The other spouse must then be served properly. This is where procedure begins to matter very much. Family law cases involve deadlines, required disclosures, court forms, service requirements, and procedural rules. Failure to follow those requirements can create significant problems. Now let's discuss financial disclosures. California requires extensive financial disclosure obligations. These obligations are extremely important. Each spouse generally must disclose assets, debts, income, and expenses. The purpose is transparency. The court wants informed decision-making, and judges take disclosure obligations seriously, very seriously. Failure to disclose assets can lead to sanctions, attorney's fees, and other consequences. Now let's discuss temporary orders. Many divorces take months or years to fully resolve. Life does not stop during that time. Bills must be paid. Children need schedules. Support issues arise. Housing questions arise. Temporary orders may address these concerns while the case remains pending, and preparation for temporary hearings matters. Judges often make important decisions based upon the information available at the time. Now let's discuss evidence, because family law cases are evidence-driven. People often believe they can simply explain their side of the story, but courts want proof, documentation, financial records, school records, medical records, photographs, emails, text messages, witness testimony. The stronger the evidence, the stronger the case. Now let's discuss one of the most important concepts in divorce litigation: credibility. Judges evaluate credibility constantly. Consistency matters. Honesty matters. Documentation matters. If your testimony matches the records, credibility improves. If your story changes repeatedly, credibility suffers. If documents contradict testimony, credibility suffers. And once credibility is damaged, it can be difficult to restore. Now let's discuss discovery. Discovery is the legal process used to gather information: interrogatories, requests for production of documents, subpoenas, depositions, financial investigations. Discovery often becomes critical when one spouse believes assets are being hidden or income is being underreported. Now let's discuss hidden assets. People often ask me whether hidden assets exist in divorce cases. The answer is yes. Sometimes cash, business income, investment accounts, cryptocurrency, real estate interests, undisclosed compensation. These issues occasionally arise, and when they do, documentation and investigation become critical. Now let's discuss witnesses. Not every divorce case requires witnesses, but some do. Teachers, doctors, counselors, accountants, business partners, family members, other individuals with relevant knowledge. Witnesses can help establish facts, but remember, facts generally matter more than emotional opinions. Now let's discuss evidentiary issues. Family court still operates under rules of evidence: hearsay objections, foundation objections, authentication issues, relevance objections, speculation objections. These issues arise more frequently than many people realize. Suppose someone wants to testify that a friend told them something. Hearsay issues may arise. Suppose someone introduces screenshots without establishing authenticity. Authentication issues may arise. Evidence matters. Now, let's discuss social media. Social media has become one of the most common sources of evidence in modern family law cases. Photographs, posts, comments, messages, location tags, videos. People often underestimate how much information they reveal online, and that information sometimes becomes evidence. Now, let's discuss timelines. Timelines are incredibly important. When did separation occur? When were assets acquired? When did communication occur? When did parenting issues arise? Chronology helps judges understand events. Well organized timelines often strengthen cases. Now, let's discuss records. Keep everything. Save emails, save texts, save calendars, save financial records, save school communications, save court documents. The best documented cases are often the strongest cases. Now, let's discuss one of the biggest mistakes people make during divorce: trying to win every battle. Divorce is often a marathon, not a sprint. People become focused on proving a point, punishing the other spouse, winning every argument. And in the process, they lose sight of long term goals: protecting children, protecting finances, protecting stability, protecting the future. Strategic thinking matters. Now let's discuss settlement. Most divorce cases eventually settle. Settlement can reduce costs, reduce stress, reduce uncertainty, and provide greater control over outcomes. But settlement decisions should be informed. Understand your rights, understand your risks, understand the facts before making major decisions. Now let's discuss trial. If settlement fails, trial may become necessary. Evidence is presented, witnesses testify, documents are introduced, arguments are made, and ultimately the judge makes decisions. Preparation becomes critical. The strongest trial presentations are usually the most organized ones. Now let's discuss spousal support. California courts consider numerous factors when evaluating support issues: length of marriage, income, earning capacity, health, age, marital standard of living, and other factors provided by law. Support disputes often involve extensive financial analysis. Now let's discuss child support. Child support is generally based upon statutory guidelines and financial information. Accurate income information matters. Parenting schedules matter. Documentation matters. Now, let's discuss one of the most important lessons I can share: stay professional. Even when the other side is not, stay organized. Even when emotions are high, stay focused on evidence. Even when accusations are being made, professionalism often creates credibility, and credibility matters. Now let's discuss appellate remedies. Sometimes people lose. Sometimes judges make mistakes. Sometimes legal errors occur. California law provides appellate remedies in appropriate circumstances, but appeals are not new trials. Appellate courts generally review the record created in the lower court. That means preserving issues matters, making objections matters. Creating a complete record matters, and deadlines matter tremendously. Missing an appellate deadline can eliminate important rights. Now let's discuss post judgment modifications. Family law cases do not always end with the judgment. Custody may change, support may change, circumstances may change. The law recognizes that families evolve over time, and certain orders may later be modified depending upon the circumstances. Now, I want to speak directly to anyone watching who is currently going through a divorce. I understand how overwhelming this process can feel. You may be worried about your children, your finances, your home, your retirement, your future. Those concerns are real. But protecting yourself begins with preparation. The people who generally place themselves in the strongest position are often the people who stay organized, preserve records, understand the process, and make decisions based upon strategy rather than emotion. Now, as we begin wrapping up, I want you to remember several important things. First, get organized early. Second, preserve documentation. Third, control your communication. Fourth, focus on your long term goals. And fifth, Understand that preparation often creates protection. If you are facing a California divorce and need guidance regarding custody, support, property division, disclosures, trial preparation, or appellate issues, do not wait until the situation becomes more difficult than it needs to be. Call us at 888-888-6582. Visit our website, www.vincentwdavis.com. Visit our YouTube channel, Davis Divorce Lawyers. You can also schedule a consultation online at www.vincentwdavis.setmore.com. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this discussion helps you better understand how to protect yourself during a California divorce and how preparation, documentation, and strategy can affect the outcome of your case. I'm attorney Vincent W. Davis, and we are all in this together.